Hello and welcome to the weather update. It's 8:30 p.m. on August 2nd, 2020. Quite a sunset tonight. Very tropical feel today in the air. Uh, we're gonna look at well, hold on, let me get through the pictures of the sunset tonight. So here's another one, uh, and another one. You can see just beautiful colors. There was a thunderstorm actually, uh, well to the north and the west that was kind of just scattering the light and making some really nice colors in the sky. We had some cirrus around. We did have clouds, but then they broke later on in the evening hours. Just some pretty colors in the sky right there. Uh, so let's get to Isaiah. I got to try to pronounce this. Uh, let's see if I could do it. Isaias. I can't. Isaias. It's just hard to pronounce. So anyway, this is the current satellite of it, and you can see, looks like it's gaining some strength now as it's heading toward, looks like toward a landfall perhaps further up the Florida coast here, or it's going to brush. But you can definitely see plenty of good convection in here in the storm. Really looking healthy, as you can see. Let's see if we can look at another. It's still tropical storm, but I still think it's going to become a hurricane again. Let's go take a look at the visible one here, combo here, so you can see that outflow. It's really looking like, I mean, it doesn't, you can see, look at that last frame. You start to see an eye form right there. Look at that. You see that little eye? An eye is trying to form. So definitely it is undergoing some strengthening right now here. So you can clearly see that it is. Let's go look at some radars out of, I guess that would be, trying to figure out where the hell it is. Daytona Beach, Florida, somewhere like that. So let's do that. Daytona Beach, Florida. Let's see. We can see. We get some. Look at. Then we'll look at our radar. But I want to get through the storm first. All right. So let's see what it looks like on the radar. Here it is. Why is this not moving? Oh yeah, because I got to use this one. Flash flare. Alright, whatever. And let's see if it's working here. Melbourne, Florida radar. Alright, so you can see it here. One of the outer bands is moving up, but it still looks like the heaviest rain is just offshore there of Florida. So let's go to the National Hurricane Center. And get the latest statement on Isaias. That third syllable is hard. So first we'll start looking at the warning cone. And yes, our area has been placed under a tropical storm watch. So there's a tropical storm watch now, and there's tropical storm warnings in effect from the mid-Florida coast up through the Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina coast up to around Cape Hatteras, and then after north of Cape Hatteras, it's tropical storm watch all the way up toward Rhode Island. And you can see the track is going to get out over the water. I still think it's going to become a hurricane again. The Hurricane Center doesn't seem to think so. I think it's going to become a hurricane again. It's just a Cat 1. It probably won't go above that, but I think it will become a hurricane again, and then it'll make a landfall somewhere on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina. So you can see its movement is slowed. North-northwest at 9, and maximum staying wind at 70. So it's slowing, which indicates that it's in an area of light winds aloft, which means that it has a chance to strengthen. It's over the water. The water's plenty warm enough. Let's look at the latest public advisory on this storm. So as of 8 p.m., its location is 28.2 north, 79.7 west, about 55 miles east-southeast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, about 385 miles south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Maximum staying winds is 70 miles an hour. Its movement is north-northwest at 9 miles an hour, and the minimum central pressure is 993 millibars, or 29.32 inches. So let's look at the latest spaghetti models. I mean, there's not really a point here because they're pretty much very close to an agreement here on a track, but there's still, there's still a little bit of an uncertainty. Is it going to track more over Nassau County or the center of it, or is the center going to track more over the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border? But you can't be too fixated on the center. And it says you do not use this map to make decisions. So it's just all the models basically. Here's the intensity guidance, and see some of the models do take it back up to a Cat 1, but most of them, I guess, and that's where the Hurricane Center is saying it's not going to become a hurricane again. Most of the models are saying it's not, but I think given the warmer than normal waters, I think you have to allow a little bit, and it could become. All it has to do is reach 75 miles an hour, and it's a hurricane. So it's not that far. It's not that far off at all. So let's go look at the models, and we'll take a look and see where this thing goes. So I got the GFS. We'll go to the Eastern USGS GFS here. So you get a closer look at it. You can see there it is. There's Isaias. I'll try to remind myself each time. And you can see GFS kind of doesn't really strengthen it all that much, but you can see what winds up happening. Once it gets away from Florida and a little more out over the open water, it's going to strengthen a little bit, and that might just put it enough to become a hurricane. And it looks like it has it making a landfall as a hurricane, like I said, right in that North Carolina, South Carolina border, and then weakening to a tropical storm. And then you can see that those remnants ride right up the I-95 corridor right there. And that means that the heaviest rain won't be over us. It'll be over the eastern Pennsylvania area right now, at least according to this model. And we're on the right side, though, so we have more of a wind issue to deal with. And this would be, again, Tuesday afternoon that it would just race on through here. But we're on the right side of it, so we have to more deal with the winds and the coastal flooding and the possibility for tornadoes as well. And then that moves away. But you can see that is what the GFS is thinking right now. And let's see, I think if we got enough, the 12-kilometer NAM should have enough of that 12-kilometer NAM now. So this is the 12-kilometer NAM, and let's see what the 12-kilometer NAM does. It looks like it's pretty much in an agreement with the GFS, but it's slower. So Tuesday afternoon, the NAM doesn't have it move through until after midnight Wednesday, but the track is still the same. The intensity is a little stronger with the NAM too, which is kind of interesting. You can clearly see the players there. There's the ridge here, a high here, trough here, pulls it up the coast. So you clearly see that the tracks, the path that this is going to take as it heads up. Now this would bring a lot of rain to a lot of parts. The NAM's bringing more rain again to the west, though, but it would be more over New Jersey. And then has it move, and it still has it being pretty intense too, which is pretty interesting. It's like it's getting some energy from the trough or something. Okay, so and this is all because again, it's getting pulled up, and it's going to get pulled up at a rapid pace. So if we were to look at the total accumulated rainfall, let's take a look at that and see where it gives the heaviest rain. We'll go all the way to the end here. And you can see that swath of 3-inch plus amounts, perhaps, over parts of New Jersey. And you can see that clear line there that it takes, whereas Suffolk County may get gypped in less than an inch. And Nassau County might see between 1 and 2 inches, and the city might see 2 inches, according to this NAM. Let's look at the GFS. GFS has that heavy area even further west, but it has a more widespread field of precipitation. Let's see what the GFS para is. GFS para is the same idea, pretty much. So let's get a little closer here to the southeast. Oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that on the para. Let me go back to GFS. Go to southeast U.S. and we will go and look at the winds. So here it is, tracking up. You can see that the winds, worst of the winds really don't make it onshore until it gets Might be some winds near hurricane force right at the coast, but I think once it gets inland, the winds will die off. But you can see that the winds on the right side of it are still very strong because it's got the momentum. And it's got the jet energy, which is gonna be a very strong low-level jet on the right side of that storm. Let me move this up a little more so you can see what I'm talking about here, the northeast. So this is the GFS, and you can see it has a very strong low-level jet on the right side of that storm, and pounds the South Shore with 50 knot winds. This is in knots. I know it's annoying that they use knots, but 50. And then there's an area of purple here too, where there could be some gusts near hurricane force, and the island will see quite a bit of wind out of this, especially on the South Shore. And this is the problem, that you have this southeast wind here that's going to be coming in. This, like I said, this is a bad track. Samantha or Jerry's like, oh, well, it's good it's going to the west, but here's the problem, Samantha. Because it's to the west, you're going to get more of that. You're on the right side of the storm, which is the worst part of the storm with the wind. The other side will have more rain, but this is the more damaging part of the storm on the right side. And this is where you also see tornadoes as well. That can happen. But again, Samantha Ojiri, she's not a real meteorologist, so she doesn't understand any of this. I don't know how she got a job at News 12 is beyond me, when you should have somebody like Joe Chaffee doing the weather. So, see that southeast wind here, and here's the problem now. It gets funneled into New York Harbor, and you can see that it narrows. So this is where there could be some really bad flooding in New York City again, just like in Sandy. I think the flooding could be, this will be the worst coastal flooding event since Sandy, in my opinion. I think it will be. And you may even see a similar level of flooding. I don't think people realize just how bad it could be with that center going to the west like that. And look at those strong winds there. And this is not gusts. This is, look at some of the other models. But you can see, look at the right side of that wind there like that. That is really disturbing. This would be Tuesday afternoon that this would hit. So let me look at the NAM now. So the NAM is slower, but it's still got the same idea with the winds. You can see that area in red is going to have some very strong winds. They're very strong winds. Oh, especially over the east end there. We're talking, like I said, 50-mile-an-hour winds. This thing is really wrapped up here, and it's not really weakening that much, despite it making a landfall over land, which is interesting that you'd think the model would weaken it. But what it is, I think, is it's absorbing some of the energy from the jet stream into the storm. This is something that happened with Sandy, too, and that kind of supercharged it. And that could happen here, too, as well. This is an ugly, ugly look. I'll tell you that right now. All right, so I kind of have the HRRR to look at. All right, we'll look at the GFS Para. Para pretty much has the same idea here. But this is a bad track for us. This is a very bad track for us. It's not a good track at all. It would be better if the track was further east in the center. Even if the storm was stronger, it would have been better if we had had it go more over the east end, because it wouldn't have been as bad. This is going to cause some bad flooding. And Samantha Ojiri she lives in Long Beach, so she should know. But well, when the water comes to floods her home, I think maybe then she'll realize how bad this thing is going to be. Let's look at the ICON model too. Similar idea. So they're pretty much in agreement as to what's going to happen here, and this is not a good scenario for us at all. And this is like a pretty deep low here, 995 millibars as well, very deep low as well. So that's something to be really worried about. So if we go back to the GFS here, we'll go look at our temperatures, and like I said, I'm not really going to go. We got this storm to deal with, so I'm really not going to talk too much about the other stuff going on. But when we look tomorrow, it'll be a warm day. We're going to have temperatures up. Well, let me go over the current conditions first, and then we'll go talk about temperatures. So, see, we got that tropical storm watch in effect. Dew points, feeling tropical out there. Dew points mid to upper 70s. Temperatures in the around 80 degrees, either side of 80 degrees. In New York City, still in the mid-80s. And probably in Jersey, too, probably still in the mid-80s as well with those high dew points. If we look at the high temperatures today, we'll go ahead and look at the high temperatures. I think today was probably mainly in the 80s. Yeah, mainly in the 80s. Low to mid-80s across the island. No 90s. except in the city and New Jersey. That's where you saw the 90s. Let's see what Tom's River hit today. That would load. That would be nice. It's not loading. So I got the spinning circle here. Okay, so 91 at Miller Air Park. So yeah, it was definitely hotter. And Lakehurst looks like it got up to no, it's Cream Ridge. Where's Lakehurst? Where is Lakehurst? Is Lakehurst? Yeah, McGuire Air Force Base got up to 95. So very hot in Jersey compared to what we had to deal with here. So I'm going to pull this away from this and take you to the weather service. You'll see all the tropical storm watches in effect, and we're going to look at the latest briefing now on Isaias from the weather service. Tropical storm Isaias briefing. All right, and I think we may have to zoom out a little bit. It's a little too large here. So flooding rain, that's the threat in the entire tri-state area. That'll be late Monday night into Tuesday, not late Monday into Tuesday night. Strong winds, tropical storms, so down trees and power outages. This is New York City, coastal New Jersey, Long Island, coastal Westchester, and Connecticut. Coastal shoreline inundation is likely. So dune erosion, localized washovers likely, moderate coastal flood impacts likely 1 to 2 feet, AGL locally 2 to 3 feet. And this would be the vulnerable areas, dangerous marine conditions and dangerous surf conditions. The tropical storm, which is this was an old, so it's strengthened to 70. It was 65 when they put this report together. Flash flood watch Tuesday. Storm total rainfall forecast 3 to 6 inches, except 3 inches. So they seem to think that there'll be more rain. But again, when you look at the models, it looks like most of it's going to be to the west. But we won't know. There's still the potential that we could see some of that heavy rain here. And these are the tropical storm force wind probabilities, very high. Good bet of having a lot of power outages. I'd say a quarter, all people on Long Island, 25% will have some kind of power interruption from this. Here's that storm surge information. There you see they're circling the South Shore. And the city too, like I explained, the way New York Harbor is shaped, when you have that gust strong southeast wind, like what you saw with Sandy, it's going to funnel into Jersey City. We saw the flooding in downtown. We saw the flooding in. We could see flooding of the tunnels. That's a potential. Here's the potential storm surge in for Connecticut. Potential storm surge for Connecticut there. High surf, and that's already starting. 30-50% chance. They're going to see that, and like I said, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. It actually, each time I look at the models, it actually looks just as bad or worse. So here we go. So tomorrow we're going to have the temperatures up into the mid-80s, and then we deal with the effects of, you could clearly see the storm here on Tuesday. I'm not going beyond that right now as far as the weather goes. We'll look at the clouds for tomorrow. Yeah, clouds, and I got to look at dew points. So we'll start with some clouds, and probably won't be all that clear, but you never know. It might be. It's hard to say. Sometimes you see that clear sky before a tropical system hits. You should get subsidence around it, and then here comes the moisture coming up there, right there. So we'll look at the dew points, because there's going to be a change with the dew points. The humidity is going to come down a little bit tomorrow, because we have more of a little bit of a westerly wind, and you can see the humidity coming down just a tad. So dew points probably in the 60s. They won't be really dry, but we can look at the NAM as well in regards to the humidity as well, and you'll see the same type of thing here. We'll go to the NAM 3 kilometer, and I'll look at the skies as well, and then we'll look at the precipitation. So you can see the NAM kind of has clearer skies in the afternoon, so we could see a period of clear skies in the early afternoon before the clouds roll back in again. So I'm going to go to the 12 kilometer, and we'll take a look at when the rain will start arriving. So we have a chance of those showers and thunderstorms tonight. We will look at the radar again for that. And then tomorrow, we should be dry most of the day, and then it's the evening. Probably say, now the NAM is slower, so it doesn't move the precipitation in until Tuesday, actually Tuesday afternoon perhaps. And then you can see it's a slower look, but it really slugs the western part of Long Island with a lot of rain, but the east end doesn't get anything, which would kind of suck, because the east end really needs the rain more than anyone right now. We just give New Jersey a ton of rain. That's really So a really scary look right there. So let me look at another model here. Let me go to the 3 kilometer NAM so we can get a high resolution look at the rain here. And again, this is the NAM, which may be a little slow. I think it is a little slow personally. You can see that it doesn't really move the rain here until around Tuesday evening, and the wind. So we'd have to see exactly how that's going to pan out. It might be a little slow. Let me see how much of the HRRR we have in. It's not a whole lot on the 0Z. Let me see if we can get the 18Z up here, so we can take a look and see when that precipitation would move in. So HRRR moves it in a little more like Tuesday morning. That's all I've got so far. But you'd expect that precipitation would start sometime Tuesday morning. It all depends, though. If it rises on the west, we may not see all that much precipitation. So it's really hard to tell until it gets here. Kind of look at the ICON as well. You can see here's the ICON again. Really just scary looking stuff. Okay, so I'm going to look at some of the other models now. Other sites that we can, let's go to windy.com, which can show us what the Euro is going to do with this thing. So here it is, Sunday. Let's go tomorrow, 3 p.m. See, it's out over the water. It looks healthy over here. That's why I think it's going to become a hurricane again. You can see picking up strength, barreling into Carolina. Looks like it has it making a landfall right on the border there. And you can see, again, the strong winds on the right side of the storm, which is the side we're going to be getting. So here comes the right side up the Delmarva. This is Tuesday, 4 p.m. The Euro also, like the NAM, a little slower. Here's 9 p.m. You can see that it still hasn't arrived yet to our area yet, but then it just races through. It races up here. Here's 11 p.m. and you can see off Atlantic City, you can see a 56-mile-an-hour wind there. That's sustained. And then if we go to 2 a.m., it's off the South Shore, and this again, you can see that track right up the I-95 corridor, and we have sustained winds on the island of around 30 miles an hour. But on the South Shore, again, you can see south wind at 50. That is going to pile the water up. I believe it's a high tide as well. So this is going to be a significant flooding event, perhaps, I believe, the worst we've had since Sandy. Then if I throw the wind gusts in here, you have gusts up to hurricane force. So this is going to be a very damaging storm for the South Shore, and there's going to be a lot of tree limbs coming down too, I believe. So we're going to see this is going to be worse than what we dealt with Faye for sure. And if we look at the waves, you'll see, look at these waves here. You're going to have 20 footers. So this is a significant coastal threat, and like I said, be prepared. This is going to, just because it's not going to be a hurricane doesn't mean it's not going to be bad. This track literally gives us the brunt of the winds and the flooding. Had the track been further east, it would not have been like this. So that's going to be it for this weather update. I'll keep you posted on it. Again, tropical. We are now under a tropical storm watch. Take care and have a good night.